Logan and Dillon, Dannis, I don't know what we expected. You have an internet troll, a very good internet troll, against a WWE superstar who's clearly on steroids. I don't know what we expected. That fight went exactly how Dillon Dannis said it was going to go. He said he was going to go for the guillotine. He said he was going to go for the takedown. Like that, he said these things, and he said that's how the fight was going to go. And he said he didn't even care if he lost. Like, I mean, that's just how Dillon Dannis said it was going to happen, and that's how I thought the fight was going to go. I don't know why people thought it was going to go any different. I don't know why DAZN and everyone like thought it was going to go any different, and just bashing Dillon. And I'm like, bro, he's not a boxer. Now for Logan, poor boxing skills. You can't put this guy out. I don't get it. And he would have won if it wasn't for his security team. No reason to intervene. No reason. And they intervened on the first takedown, and that's when they should have ended the fight, and they didn't. But they should have just kept going and let Logan get his fucking win and move on. And Logan needed this win. He wanted this win because he was truly fucking affected by Dillon Dannis. Now for Dillon, he needed to show up. He needed just to fight and perform. And I'm happy that he did. I'm happy for both you guys. I think both of those guys won like in their own ways that night. Now for KSI, Tommy Furry, again, we shouldn't have much expectations. KSI is not a real boxer. He hasn't fought real competition. Tommy Furry, he's trying to figure something out, and it looks like he's going to start focusing more on his career. But KSI's a sore loser. He has everything to his advantage. Everything. And like I said this on the previous pod, he has too many yes men around him, and that's why he threw his fucking tantrum, started kicking screens, and just started acting like a sore loser. If KSI would have took that L like a fucking champ, it would have said, okay, here, I lost. It is what it is. Guys, I'm going to come back stronger. I apologize. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. Everybody on the internet, including myself, would have been like, that's a fucking champ. That guy is a winner. No matter, even though he lost, he fucking won, and he's proud of what he did tonight. But no, he lost, and he threw a tantrum, and he's a sore loser. Sore loser. So it's very disappointing to see that from KSI, because when things are great, it's easy to be happy and smile and everything. But when things are hard and things don't go your way and you act like that, that's who you are, and that's who KSI is, and it's very disappointing because his fan base is huge, and they don't fucking deserve that. Hey guys, welcome to the False Line Podcast here with episode 170 with your host, Alvaro Vargas. I think I figured it out. I think it is episode 170. I'm wearing this purple shirt to represent the False Nine, but more importantly, I bought this from a good friend of mine, 8 Mode Performance. I'll make sure to include his Instagram on the bio. And, check out his merch. He has these nice, cool T-shirts, very comfortable. And if you guys like it, hit him up. I don't know if he can ship them or I know he's delivering here locally. But just give him a like, a follow. That'd be much appreciated. He's, like I said, a very old friend of mine, a good person that I know. And, he's just trying to, do something good for himself. And I'm happy for him. And I'm, going to be supporting him. And I'm going to be repping the 8 Mode here. So make sure to check that out if you like the shirt. But let's get this show started, man. We had a very, very interesting event this weekend with Misfits. And then we'll talk about a little bit of UFC. But let's get started, man. First thoughts, I do want to say, because I do want to spend a little time talking about this, is how disappointed I am in DAZN. To be the build up to the fight before the Logan fight, I was watching the DAZN, obviously watching pay-per-view, whatever. But, you see the DAZN commercials and everything that they provide. If you sign up for the subscription, they have the NFL pass and all these other passes, and they show all these sports. And I'm like, damn, DAZN is really, really killing it in the UK or that side of the world with all these channels or whatever, right? They're killing it. But then, when we get to the Dillon and Dannis fight and Logan Paul, the commentary, obviously it's not all DAZN's fault, but the commentary is so biased. And my only word that I can use to describe it is disgusting, because they made Dillon Dannis, seem so small, so little. They said these very negative things about him, which you don't really ever hear from commentary. And they praised Logan so much. And I was just confused, because I'm like, Logan's not a real boxer. He's never won a fight. I don't know if he's ever won a round until this fight. and he's not good, and he's never won a fight. So I don't get it. And clearly, you know, I started to pick on, like, okay, clearly they're being biased. You know, they told him to talk a certain way, or to praise Logan and to not praise Dillon. And, you know, the fight's going on. Dillon's clearly not fighting. And I don't know what they expected. I don't know if they really thought Dillon Danis was going to go out there and box with Logan. So I don't know. I was just confused, and I did not like that at all. I was like, I want to watch, you know, some influencer boxing, you know, and they have the same level of commentary. Nothing too serious. It's not real boxers. So we don't have to pretend like they are and then call them, you know, say certain things about them. Like, if Dillon Danis was a real boxer and that's how he performed, yeah, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck? But he's a fucking MMA guy, and then on top of that, he's more on just jiu-jitsu. So it's just like, why are we pretending like these guys are real boxers? And then, you know, just how biased they were. It was ugly to hear, and I was like, this is not cool. I don't know. It was shitty. It was really shitty from them and from the DAZN. So I'm very disappointed how they took that approach, and hopefully they don't make that mistake again. Now, let's talk about the Logan and Dillon Danis fight. I'm also disappointed. Not disappointed. I don't know if this is common, but they played the national anthem and they booed the national anthem for the United States. So I was very surprised by that, because clearly there was a lot of Americans on that fight card. Not a lot, but I mean, Logan Paul is, you know, the big name. And then you had Dillon Danis, Americans, and, you know, they supported them when they were coming out, but the national anthem, they just booed it. So I was really confused by that. You know, like I said, I don't know if this is a thing that they do and in other countries. I don't know, right? But yeah, Dillon Danis showed up. I didn't think he was going to show up, and he showed up, and no one thought that he was ever going to show up. And that's how I want to start this off. You know, let's remember a few things here, because Dillon Danis is not supposed to show up. He's supposed to pull out the fight, and Mike Perry's supposed to fight Logan. That's what's supposed to happen, because no one believes that Dillon's going to show up. Nobody. So let's not pretend, right? Let's not pretend. Let's be real honest here. He was not supposed to show up. Another thing is, Logan Paul is clearly on steroids, okay? So let's not pretend either. And then, you know, clearly there's a big size difference in these guys. And if you guys didn't know, Logan missed weight. He wasn't on weight by the time, you know, the deadline. They had to give him an extra hour to make weight. You know, if any real professional organization, you are done. You didn't make weight, you're not fighting. It's plain and simple. So no testing for steroids, didn't make weight, you know, and I'm not making any excuses, because I don't give a fuck about who won, who didn't win. But I'm just being real honest. So let's not praise Logan like he did something huge here, right? So, you know, the fight's going on, and to talk about just the fight, I mean, let me just, before I move on to the fight, let's see. Okay, so let's talk about the fight now. Yeah, Dillon Danis showed up. We have an internet troll, a big internet troll, versus a WWE superstar who's clearly on steroids. Both of these guys have done shitty things. Both scam both of their fan bases and audience. Shout out to CoffeeZilla for that, for exposing them, and I follow him. So they're not good people, you know. I'm sure they're good in their own ways, but, you know, they've done some very sketchy things. And one guy pretends like he didn't do it. That's Dillon. He's just completely blind to it. And Logan pretends like he really did something and he's going to pay his people back. So that's who's fighting, right? And Logan's never won a fight in boxing. He's never fought a real boxer besides Mayweather, and that was a shit show too. Mayweather just pieced him up. Dillon Danis has never been in a boxing match. He hasn't fought, I think, since 2015 or 16. In MMA, he's fought in Bellator. And every time he's fought in Bellator, he just goes straight for the takedowns. Doesn't really, you know, go for the punches, you know, or go for the striking. So, you know, that's who's fighting, guys. So let's not fucking pretend that this was a big win for whoever won. So the fight goes on. It's a fucking shit show, right? Now, I'm going to just fast forward because I don't want to talk too much about the fight. You know, Dillon Danis is clearly getting beat up. Getting just boxed up. Logan Paul is just boxing him up. And I'm surprised that Logan Paul held it back. He should have just went all out. All 6 rounds. You know, just fucking put it on him, because clearly Dillon Danis did not want to box. He was just a punching bag. Did not want to box. I don't understand why Logan Paul just didn't go for it. Should have just went for the finish. That just goes to show you that Logan Paul's not a good boxer. Because he's not. He couldn't put out this Dillon Dannis, who was just a punching bag, and you were just hitting 1-2s on him, some few combinations. Couldn't get the job done, right? Maybe Dillon Dannis has a decent chin, whatever. So that's how I see it. I'm just like Dillon Dannis said, he's not going to try and fight like that. He's going to go for a takedown, whatever. Then eventually Dillon Dannis goes for the takedown. And I do want to mention this. Logan's security, without hesitation, jump into the ring. No disqualification yet, right? But it should have been a disqualification because they intervened in the fight. No, I don't understand why they did, but they did. And I'm sure, Logan Paul had him on call and whatever. But that happened. And then towards the end, fucking Dillon Dannis goes for the guillotine, slips it out. It gets slipped out. And Logan, first of all, we as MMA fans that watch MMA, to get a guillotine like that, it's very hard to do. And then on top of that, it fucking slipped. And then Logan Paul goes for the hammer fist, and you have an exposed Dillon Dannis on the floor, and fucking misses. So we have a missed guillotine, which is fucking hilarious. Then we have a missed hammer fist, which is even more hilarious. And then Dillon Dannis goes for a kick to Logan, and then Dillon Dannis gets up and chases Logan. And Logan thinks Dillon Dannis is on the ground because he knows that his security guards are going to enter the ring and intervene. But then they take too long, and he gets a little scared. And then that's when the security guards come. And Dillon Dannis, I don't know if he purposely missed it or he really missed it, because I was like, bro, it looks like you purposely didn't hit him. But the way he was boxing, I wouldn't be surprised if he just didn't hit him. Logan Paul already knew that his security was going to intervene, which I'm not surprised. And then the fight ends, and Logan gets the decision. So, again, a shit show of fight. It should have been a DQ. Logan he shouldn't have won, but he did. And again, they're very biased. They wanted Logan to win, because all the drama with his fiance, whatever. Now, this is where I'm going to probably shit on both of these fighters, or both of these guys, because they didn't really fight. Let me just, before I say that, let's see. Okay, so again, then during the fight, DAZN was, praising Logan, and I was just very disappointed. And, I've seen a few videos already about Logan's, post-fight interview speech, and how he says that if the devil, whatever, a very nice speech. It was very, if it was true, or if it came from a different person, I would have that speech would have been nice. But this speech came from Logan Paul, and to me, this speech is pathetic, if I'm being honest. And I really dislike Logan, and I just don't like him. Like I said, what he did to George was very disappointing, because friendships are, as a person, we have family, we have friends, and you have your partner. That's it. That's the type of relationships that you have with people, or just no relationship. To call George your best friend and then make fun of him for his religion, knowing how important that is to him, and you make fun of him publicly, and you just humiliate him on the internet. And it's very disgusting, very disappointing to see that from another person, especially someone you call your best friend. Because if my family or my best friends, or my best friend or best friends or friends or cousins that I'm close to said anything like that and really meant it and were making fun of me, I would have been like, fuck you, bro. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. Just zero. Get out of my life. Just know, like, that, just unacceptable. And that's who Logan is. And this is why, like, I'm confused why people are saying dub speech, dub Logan. I'm like, bro, Logan's not a good person. He's not a good person. He did his friend so fucking wrong. He scammed his audiences. That he's worked on his craft on YouTube, and he got to where he is now for being hardworking and being determined. And you got to give Logan that. But he grew a fan base. He grew an audience, and then he took their money and just left. I sometimes I stress about money, or I worry about money. And if someone was just just rob it from me. You know, someone that was like, you know, it was like if Charles Oliveira was asking for donations for his cut, you know, and then he lied about it, and then he was in a boat in Abu Dhabi or some shit. I would have been like, fuck you, Charles. I don't want to be. I'm like, what the fuck? And that's who Logan is. It was a great speech, but from the person it came from, it's just pathetic to me. You know, he said that it was a rough 2 months for him, and I was like, bro, what do you think about your friend George, or what about the people that you scammed? If anything, that's what you deserved, and I hope he learned the lesson, which I doubt he did. But you know, and almost victimize himself, it was just kind of like weird to see that coming from Logan, because those who know a little bit of the truth and what's been exposed from Logan, it's just like, bro, your speech is pathetic. It means nothing. It's worthless, if I'm being honest, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's who Logan is, guys. You know, and we've seen this. So yeah, now for Dillon, dude took I don't know, man. Like I said, Dillon Dannis, this was his mission. How the fight happened, that was Dillon's mission. He wanted the fight to end that way. He wanted it to be dramatic, messy, stupid, funny. He wanted it to be like that. You know, Dillon Dannis has, I think, other things on his mind and what he wants and he desires. And he got paid. I thought he wasn't getting paid. He said he wasn't getting paid, but he got paid. Because that was pretty clear, because Logan said that. And I believe it. I was like, okay, I thought it was weird that they weren't paying him, you know, to put himself in danger. But he's clearly getting paid. So he got paid. And he just left. And I mean, again, I don't know what you guys expected. And then, right, so this fight's going on. And it's over. And they're like, what a shit show. And then we have KSI versus Tommy Furry. And that fight was no better. That fight was no better. It wasn't, I don't know, it was slightly better than the Logan Paul and Dillon Dannis fight, but slightly better. That just tells you how bad that fight was as well. And again, how do I start off? So with the fight coming in, everybody knew Tommy was the clear winner here, or the person that was supposed to win, and he did a terrible job. He poor performance, and I'm not making any excuse for Tommy, but you can tell when somebody's injured or hurt when they're fighting. Tommy was clearly fighting some injury the whole fight. He just didn't look like Tommy. He was weird. It was weird seeing that. He didn't look like Tommy. Because from Jake Paul, Tommy, to this Tommy was night and day different. It was completely different. Not making any excuse for Tommy. I don't really care, like I said, but I'm just being real here. So I was like, he's clearly injured, or he doesn't care about this fight. It's one of those. So the fight's going on. KSI is like on crack. Kudos to him for the cardio. And he's going all out those 3 rounds. And at the 3rd round, when he starts to slow down, you can start to see that was his game plan. He's like, okay, I'm going to go all out round 1, 2, and 3. And he wanted to put him out. That was his plan. And he didn't. He couldn't. He landed a few clean punches. I was very shocked by that. It was very surprising. And kudos to him for KSI for doing that. And, you know, the fight goes on. And then, I mean, it just becomes a hug fest. Hug fest. Hugging the whole fight. Very, again, disappointing from the DAZN and how they talked about these fighters and how Tommy's supposed to be the boxer and how he should just make more. It was very disappointing from the DAZN. And they were kind of right. I don't know why Tommy didn't manage that better. But I think he was, like I said, he was hurt. And he said that at the end of the fight. So the fight was just a hug fest after KSI got tired. And then he loses. And I don't know why people are shocked. And I'm just like, bro, KSI didn't do, I don't know. He looked great because how fast and quick he was moving. That's why he looked great. But when you talk about what he landed and how he hit him, he landed a few punches. I think the stats are pretty neck and neck. Tommy, I think, threw more. I don't know who threw more, but there was one stat that KSI had more over Tommy. But KSI, and I'm not hating on KSI. I don't really know KSI like that, right? But he didn't do anything. He just kept doing a lot. Like, he did a lot, but it didn't mean anything. It didn't hurt nobody. It was just, you were just doing a lot. So he looked like he was winning, and he arguably could have won the fight. But you know, the judges scored the I think 2 judges scored it to Tommy, and the other one I think was a draw. But then today they announced that it was not a majority decision. It was unanimous decision. It was even more funny because of the tantrum that KSI threw. So, like, the fight was weird. Just to get over about the fight, then we'll talk about the post fight. So the fight, like I said, it was boring. It wasn't any better than the Logan and Dillon Dannis fight. And it was very disappointing because Logan Paul and KSI put this fight together. They did it for Prime, and they did it obviously for pay-per-view. And, you know, this is a $60 event. And those were the 2 main events. And that's what we got. So it was very disappointing from DAZN, Logan Paul, and KSI to get all these people invested and to come out and have an event and have it go that way. It's very disappointing, you know. Now, for Logan Paul and the Dillon Dannis fight, there's nothing much you probably could have done better, to be honest with you. But from the KSI and Tommy, the only reason why I'm upset with KSI is because if KSI at the end of the fight, you know, after that he announced that he was lost, and he would have said, okay, I lost. I don't know how I lost, but I lost. It is what it is. We had a great camp. Shout out to God. Shout out to my trainers, my camp. And I want to thank the fans for showing up. You know, I wanted to get the win for you guys tonight, but I couldn't. But I hope you guys enjoyed this event. It was so fun. I was so excited. I trained my ass off. It was one of the coolest experiences ever. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Shout out to Tommy. I hope we can run it back and do this shit again because I think I won the fight. But hey, if he was the better man tonight, so be it. Let him have his moment. But I want to run it back with him if we can. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. If KSI would have done that, the event and everything, the whole event would have just been different. If KSI would have handled the fight that way. You know, and because that mentality shows you, you know, okay, I lost. It's just a championship mentality, a winner's mentality, you know, because he did a lot of good things, you know, and he just couldn't get it done. He did really good, but he just didn't get the win, unfortunately. So, you know, but instead he threw a fit. Instead, he started kicking screens. He started making up these reasons why he got robbed. It was a robbery. He's going to appeal. As soon as the fight, and this is like, you know, in front of fans. This is on TV. You know, and what makes me upset is that I know people, like, I have 2 cousins that are younger than me that like KSI and that look up to KSI. And they've been watching KSI for years. And I'm sure there's a lot of kids like that, older now, that looked up to KSI and watched a lot of his videos. And for him to throw the biggest fit, you know, what example are you being? You know what I'm saying? What examples are you showing to your audience? Like, what, you can work hard and then, you know, it doesn't go your way, so throw a fit? You know? And those for, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just be real honest with you guys. And those for, like, you can work your ass off and do all this shit and all this shit and all this shit, and yet it just may not be your time yet. And things may not go your way. But that doesn't mean throw a fucking fit. You know, you hold up your head high and you fucking move on and you keep working harder more than ever. And then eventually your time will come, your day will come, and you will win. Whether it's a boxing match or a podcast for me, whatever. But you don't go and do that. And if he would have just went and had a winner's mentality and a championship mentality, like he says that he is, or whatever, the way he carries himself, he would have done that. And like I said, if he would have just been just a champ about it, the whole event would have been a success. Everybody would have been real happy. Everyone would have been applauding in the arena. It would have been fucking awesome. It would have been awesome. It would have been such a man thing to do. But he didn't do that. And that's why I'm just like, KSI, you ain't shit, bro. You just throw a fucking, you grown ass man. You 30, I think. Just throw a fit, kicking screens, kicking TVs. I've done that shit, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Stop. But that's your boy. That is y'all's boy KSI. Threw a fucking fit in front of everybody. And it's unfortunate because, I mean, where do you go from here? Logan's not fighting in boxing no more. I think he's done. He should be done. He doesn't need to do that. He's making a lot of money in WWE. Just, bro, you're killing it over there. Just stay over there. Don't hurt yourself. Don't go through the drama. Just stay over there. You don't got to do weight cuts. Just stay in WE, bro. Stay in your lane. Do your thing. Fucking kill it over there. Called out Rey Mysterio. Go do that. Right? Go do that. For KSI, you were supposed to fight Jake Paul. Obviously, that fight's still a good idea, but I don't know, man. Jake Paul would kill KSI if KSI would fight the same way he fought Tommy Furry. And I'm not trying to like troll, that KSI would lose to Jake, but I'm just being honest. Like Jake's a patient and way more technical fighter than KSI, and he had a good fight against Tommy. That fight was a very technical fight versus this Tommy Furry and KSI. It was a sloppy hug fest, and like I said, I think most likely if Jake Paul and KSI fight, which I hope they do eventually, Jake Paul knocks him out. I'm being real. He knocks him out. He catches him clean. Jake Paul's a patient fighter. He catches him clean. And to talk about and to finish off, this boxing event. I wasn't supposed to talk this long about it. To be honest, I only wanted to talk 5-10 minutes, but I was so upset about how it ended, and I was just like, man, what the fuck? So another thing is you have to give Jake Paul a lot of credit here because he puts on events and everybody gives him shit. Everybody gives him shit. The internet, the media, other boxers, everybody gives Jake Paul shit. But this motherfucker, Jake Paul, shows up to his brother's event. He walks out with his brother, knowing damn well that KSI is the enemy. He's there for his brother. That's such a mature thing to do, and I was very shocked by that. He's still like, a fool sometimes to me, but whatever. But you got to give him credit. And then on top of that, he puts on solid events. All the events that we've seen of Jake Paul, they've been good. It might be Jake Paul against, Nate Robinson or whoever, Ben Askren, but they're good events. They're entertaining. All the fights are good. The main event's good. The Nate Diaz fight was good. Anderson Silva fight was good. The Tyron Woodley, like those fights are good. Like they're entertaining. And then we watch a card from DAZN with two of the biggest YouTube stars, and that's what we got. And Jake Paul and his team put this event together. And they're big. It's a big difference. So you got to give kudos to Jake for the events that he puts on because it's very impressive what he and his team could do, versus a media company like DAZN, Logan Paul, KSI, Prime, and all the other influencers. So it is what it is. Yeah, but we'll see where they move off from that, and they need DAZN and the influencer boxing really need to they need to work on it, right? Now let's talk about UFC for a little bit. This is a long pod. I apologize, guys, but hey, hope you guys are enjoying it. So Izzy just announced that he's going to take a break from UFC, from MMA or from fighting. And I was not surprised to see that. I was a little like, damn, bro, I wanted to see you fight already, like next year, early next year. I hope he doesn't go long without fighting, but I think he does want to take a break and just reflect. Just reflect. It feels real nice when you kind of just sit back and do a lot of nothing and just think, eat your meals, go about your day, see family, chill with friends, go bowling, go to Top Golf. Just live your life, right, without the grind. And then you slowly start to miss the grind, but you start to realize that being away from it, it's really good for you. And you start to think about things that you didn't even know that were there, like feelings, emotions, everything. So I don't know what Izzy's been through or how his life's been, but he's been fighting a lot. He has, I want to say I don't know, it's going to be a rough number, but if I'm not mistaken, as far as kickboxing goes, I want to say he has anywhere from 70 to 100 matches just in kickboxing. And then his mixed martial arts record, I want to say it's like he's like 30 to 40 fights, if I'm not confused here. So over 100 fights professionally. Probably in the last, I don't know what years for him, but that's a lot of fights. And at the level that he's doing it now and the way he looks now, the damage he's taken since then, to where he is now, it's very impressive how he can still perform and do what he does. And we can't take that away from Izzy. We know that he lost, but maybe Izzy was just kind of out of it. Maybe he was just checked out. Maybe he was just kind of done. And he just didn't really care too much about the fight. Because that Izzy, we didn't even know who that Izzy was. And not making any excuse for Izzy. He lost the fight, and kudos to Sean. But I think he didn't want it anymore. And now that he's taking this break, I'm like, yeah, he clearly he just wants to get away. So I'm really happy for Izzy. And I hope that he gets better. I hope that he can just find some peacefulness and some happiness in his heart and in his mind. And just surround himself, around good people, because, that's what Izzy deserves. He's been a good champ. I've been a fan of Izzy. He's a little dorky and a little cringe at times, a lot of times, but he's a champ, and he's performed, and he's lived to the hype. And I mean, I can only say good things about Izzy, except for when he faced Drakus. That shit was weird, but he deserves it. And John Jones even said, the 3 years that he took off were the best thing that happened to John Jones. And, so hopefully Izzy, takes some time off. And I can't wait to see him come back when he does come back, because you'll see a more evolved mentally Izzy for sure. And I think his prime or the best of Izzy, we have already seen it. And we have to appreciate Izzy. We really do. Because we've seen the best of it. We have seen the best of Izzy. And you couldn't ask for much more, really. So we have to, again, appreciate Izzy and what he's done. And his title run has been one of the most impressive. I am going to say that, and I'm still going to say this, but I think his title reign is more important and weighs more than Anderson Silva's. And to me, he's always going to be the middleweight GOAT because of the legacy that he's had in the UFC. So kudos to Izzy, and I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his decision. And I hope that we get to see him again, because I want to see him fight. He's magical in the ring. So I'm happy for him. Hope he does well, and I hope he just gets better and is just in a good headspace. So obviously we have UFC coming up, big event, which next episode will be that. But they're talking about making an interim title fight against Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria. And I have mixed emotions about that, because it's only a loss situation for Ilia. He's a great fighter, fucking pieced up Emmett Smith and Bryce Mitchell. And he's great, but is he ready? Is he ready to fight the big dogs? We know it. There's Volkanovski, there's Max Holloway, there's Yair, there's Brian Ortega, there's Emmett Smith. I'm sure there's a few names that I'm missing, but I would have liked to see Ilia at least fight Yair or Brian Ortega before he fought Max Holloway. And guys might think, oh, Brian and Yair are not that good or whatever. But Yair is really good. But Brian Ortega's not that good. But Brian Ortega is a good fight, man. It's just good stylistic fight for Ilia, and it's a challenge for Ilia. And that's a statement a statement fight if he would have won, or if he could win in a dominant way. Same thing with the Yair fight. If he could beat Yair easily or makes him look easy, that's a big statement. And you're jumping to a champion, Max Holloway. To me, Max Holloway is also a champ. Obviously, you can't have two champs in a division, but you have Volkanovski, and if it wasn't for him, Max Holloway would be running that division still, because he was at one point. And I don't know. It's a weird choice, and he was supposed to fight Volk in January, but then Volk stepped up, so it's tough. It's tough for Ilia, I think. It's a lot. It's tough for Max. I mean, he can just have another title shot. And he's talked about, if I got to fight Volkanovski a fourth time, I will. And Max is going to do everything in his power to win the interim title and get his shot with Volk. Because I don't think Max Holloway won't be happy if he ends his UFC career without being champion again. And I really do believe that Max Holloway, if he gets one more chance at the title, he will be champion. I don't know why I have that feeling, but I do. So I think Ilia's time is not yet. He's going to have to wait a year or two, because Max, if he can get that win, I think he can beat Volkanovski. I just do. And we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. If that fight does happen, it would be it's going to be a banger without a question. I would love to see that fight go 5 rounds, because Max has that crazy pace. And it would be a challenge for Ilia. It would be his first, I think, 5-round fight. And, I mean, it would be against a Max Holloway, a hungry Max Holloway. So we'll see. But guys, that's the end of the show. This is a little bit long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what I could do better. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. This week we have Charles. I wish we had Charles fighting. We have UFC 294, which is Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski now, and Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. So massive fight on Saturday. So we're gonna do a great pod. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Leave a like, share, subscribe. And if you like the tea, check out the bio, or check out the description, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.